Alright YouTube, doing something a little different today. Rather than seeing my ugly mug on video, you're just going to hear my voice. Now the reason for this is because I want to make a video where I show pictures and I can't be bothered to try and edit pictures on top of video. So we're going to have to make do with this. If you wanted to put a face to my voice, you can simply go back and watch one of my previous videos. If you can't be bothered to do that, then that's your problem. First and foremost, you can skip this if you want, but I just want to explain. Apologies if you hear a laptop fan or computer fan. I'm actually recording this through the microphone on my laptop because the actual microphone I have doesn't work for some reason. So anyway, now that that's out the way, I'm going to explain what this video is about. You're seeing a picture of from the new Superman movie, Man of Steel, which is set to come out in the summer 2013. And in anticipation for that, I just want to, let's say, educate some people who may not know about a potential, or not potential anymore, but a Superman project which was in the works in the late 90s. And that was originally entitled Superman Lives. Now, a lot of people don't know about this because it was, let's say, for regular moviegoers or typical moviegoers, it was swept under the carpet, let's say. There wasn't much of a big deal made about it. But it actually began pre-production, and I'm just going to highlight some of the key elements, as I think this was not intended to be funny, but it was quite a hilarious project if you know some of the details about it. So anyway, without further ado, this is educating you about Superman Lives. Right, so this is a video about Superman Lives, which was initially set to be released in 1998. Right now, you have a picture of Henry Cavill as Superman in the new Man of Steel movie coming out this summer. But not everything was going to be all hunky-dory like this, because there was a crazy project that was initially put into production by Warner Brothers. And I'm just going to explain what it was about. So I suppose this is spoilers, but not really, because the film never came out, and as far as we know, it never will. But anyway, the plot was Superman was to be killed by Doomsday, whilst Brainiac would block out the sun by sending a disc into outer space. And since Superman is powered by the sun, this would, in turn, kill him. So, thus the proposed title, Superman Lives, because he was going to be resurrected. Like I said, it was set to be released in summer 1998. I'll just bring up a picture here. This was actually an officially produced teaser poster, which I believe was unveiled at a Comic-Con back in 97, or maybe, I'm not too sure on the date, so don't quote me on that. Yeah, so as you can see, not really the typical colours. I'll be getting onto that in a bit, but at the bottom it does say coming in 1998. So let's go on to some details about this. Right, I'm gonna start with casting. Now, like I said in the intro, if you watch that, this project seemed quite hilarious, even though it wasn't intended to be, I assume. But going forward, Clark Kent / Superman was going to be, believe it or not, Nicolas Cage. Yes, that's right, Nicolas Cage, the guy from Con Air, the guy who does weird films like Next, or did weird films like Next, Bangkok Dangerous and so on. He's just kind of faded out. Kevin Spacey was apparently approached for Lex Luthor, and this was a bit funny because in Superman Returns in 2006 he actually played Lex Luthor, so not too far-fetched there. One casting selection I did like apparently was Courtney Cox as Lois Lane, based on her character. I think it was Gail Weathers, I believe, in Scream. I think that was in 96. Courtney Cox, I think, would have made a great Lois Lane. She had the reporter thing nailed down, and I think she, she could, within the film Scream itself, she kind of played the part of an annoying news reporter or journalist, let's say, or news reporter, whatever, who gets in your face and wants answers. So I think as Lois Lane, she would have been a fantastic choice. And something that's struck me as a bit funny at first was Chris Rock as Jimmy Olsen. I don't think I should use the words that would have been interesting to see. I think it would have been quite strange, really, to be honest. Chris Rock as Jimmy Olsen, but anyway, that's a whole different thing, because there's more absurdity to come. Tim Burton was set to direct the film, and but this came later on down the line. But initially, believe it or not, Kevin Smith, the guy who was behind Clerks, Chasing Amy, and Dogma, and so on, he initially wrote the well, as far as I know, the second draft of the script, because apparently Warner Brothers had already had a script produced and he rewrote it for himself. I'm going to link you later on to a video about Kevin Smith actually speaking about the project himself, because some things are just too hilarious to mention myself. It won't be funny coming from me. But yeah, Kevin Smith originally wrote, like, let's say the first proper script going forward, but he had to deal with one of the producers on the film, who's known as John Peters, and he is the, I don't know what sort of planet he lives on, but to go forward with writing the script, Kevin Smith had to adhere to 3 conditions. John Peters, he wanted Superman to have an all-black suit, so you weren't going to have Superman in his typical red and blue suit or outfit, whatever you want to call it, which kind of takes away some of the trademarkness of Superman. He was not going to fly, which again is like, what the fuck? Superman flies, that's what he's about. And something that apparently John Peters was adamant on having was Superman fighting a giant spider in the 3rd act of the film. I'm going to leave that there, because the way Kevin Smith explains it is quite hilarious. Additionally, John Peters wanted Brainiac to have a robot assistant, which was to sound like a gay R2-D2. That's what they described him as. He wanted, I think his name was Dwight, I can't remember his name, but from Chasing Amy, he basically wanted the character to sound like him in Superman Lives. Right, so moving on to some of the physical stuff. Right now you're seeing some of the concept art for the Superman outfit. Here you can see, for example, the cape looks like it's a burgundy colour, and the suit is all black with a silver S logo on the chest. Completely different, looks quite gothic and so on, which I suppose would fit into Tim Burton's sort of direction, since he always directs those sort of films. But very different indeed. Here's another drawing or concept art, let's say. Once again, red cape, a bit brighter than burgundy, but all black suit with the silver S logo on the front. Sorry, I just have to find my notes here. Okay, right. This is more hilarity. Nicolas Cage was apparently going to have to wear a wig for this film. I don't know why. Apparently they wanted him to have long hair, and when I first heard about this, I couldn't stop laughing my head off. But a image of Nicolas Cage, he actually went in for a costume fitting. There's an image that's gone around on the internet now, and I'll bring that up. I hope you're ready to laugh, because it does look quite ridiculous. And oh, before I get on to that, just remembered in the Man of Steel picture, the first picture of Henry Cavill as Superman, which I believe they released, was him standing by a vault, and people were a bit like, what's up with his hair? It's like he's got a gel mitt, like a wig or something. But I don't think you can get more absurd than what I'm about to show you here. With Nicolas Cage, he does have a long hair up to his shoulders, and I don't quite get what's up with his face in the picture. Give you a moment to process that. That's Nicolas Cage as Superman. The outfit here is blue and red. I can only assume that, going with the story that they initially developed, he would have had this outfit first, then gone into the sort of black and silver suit that once he had been resurrected. But there you have it, Nicolas Cage as Superman. And apparently the word is that Tim Burton, the director himself, even thought that the costume or the wig looked stupid. I mean, if the director's saying that himself, that must say a lot of things. But yeah, I believe John Peters was kind of behind this whole thing. But anyway, Kevin Smith wrote a whole script in that, and he had to adhere to John Peters' crazy demands, fighting polar bears at the Fortress of Solitude. Initially wanted, I believe it was Doomsday, or Brainiac, sorry, to fight Superman's gods, but he was like, Superman doesn't have gods. I mean, he's frickin' Superman, isn't he? So why would he need gods? So they were going to have him fighting polar bears, but this script was just completely nuts, and Tim Burton brought in, what's his name, Wesley Strick, to rewrite the script, and therefore Kevin Smith was basically chucked off the project, but he says he always has a story to tell now because it was such a weird experience. But anyway, apparently the initial idea of Brainiac sending a disc into space to block out the sun was reminiscent of a storyline from The Simpsons when Mr. Burns blocked out the sun in that episode of Who Shot Mr. Burns, which kind of makes sense. But anyway, after that, Superman would be resurrected by someone called the Eradicator, and Superman not being to his full self again, I suppose, would be the reason why he wouldn't have all his powers, such as flying. I just have to mention this point, if he couldn't fly, I was wondering how the hell was he going to get about it? I mean, can you imagine Superman in like a Superman mobile or something? And if he was to fight a giant spider, how the hell would he do that? Because surely the spider's power source isn't going to be in its legs. So, you know, it's mental, the idea. It was mental. But anyway, Wesley Strick, who rewrote the script, then thought Lex Luthor and Brainiac would bond together to form Lexiac, and Superman would have been resurrected by a natural force, which was represented as the spirits of Krypton. So that kind of made a bit more sense, but still a bit far-fetched, really. But then again, this was the 90s, you know. Back in the 90s, great films were still being made. Yeah, it might have worked, but probably not great. But anyway, this kind of went on for a long time, and come April 98, even though the film was supposed to be released that year in the summer, $30 million had been spent on this project, and there was really nothing to show for it. The only thing they developed some of the Krypton set, but that got destroyed, and also I'll bring up some pictures here. There were costume designs, and right here you can see basically the guy with the silver S and that, and it all lit up. It was fluorescent. If you search on YouTube for Superman Lives, you can find a few videos of them testing out the costumes, so there is that. But it all lit up. It's just, I hope people know what I'm talking about. It reminds me of Dynamo from The Running Man when he first appears and he's like, "Come to me, my love," and he's all lighting up, shoots the electricity and that. It's like, what the hell were they thinking? Here, this picture you can see is fully lit up. Looks like Dynamo from The Running Man. So I'll just leave you with a picture there for a bit for one of the costume designs. Anyway, yeah. Due to the whole project being up in the air, Tim Burton went off to direct Sleepy Hollow, so he kind of dropped out on his own accord, let's say, and apparently to this day, according to Wikipedia, the most trusted source on the internet, Tim Burton describes the whole thing as being one of the worst experiences of his life, citing various issues with John Peters and the studio. I just should mention at this point, John Peters was a producer on Batman 1989, which was directed by Tim Burton, and rumours were that Tim Burton and John Peters had issues then, because Tim Burton was just starting out as a director. He was basically being dictated by John Peters mainly and the studio what to do, but Jack Nicholson, who was the Joker, apparently stuck up for Tim Burton, saying that it was his project really, and he should do what he wants to do, and there was a whole big uproar there, and the film got made in the end, but apparently there was a lot of controversy whilst filming it. Excuse me, my voice is going a bit. Anyway, the whole thing went on for a few years, and after the directorial role was offered to various other directors, that thing was going nowhere because all of them turned it down apparently, and Nicolas Cage only dropped out of the project in June 2000. Once this happened, John Peters apparently offered the role of Superman to Will Smith, but he as well turned it down. I mean, it's like they were just trying to flog a dead horse here. They didn't really have any sort of direction, and I suppose it was something inevitable that the whole project was going to be scrapped. But basically, my main point for this, I just want to make people aware of some of the absurdity that could have been Superman. We all saw the crap that went down with Batman and Robin, and this probably could have been somewhat of the same thing, really. That's about it, I suppose. Like I said, I just wanted to make people aware. My closing comments, I just wanted to basically say that I wish this film could have been made. From the information I've just given you and the information I've learned, I think this film would have been dreadful, but Nicolas Cage as Superman, wearing a wig, Jimmy Olsen, Chris Rock, it just would have been quite hilarious to see. It would have been something to laugh at, really. It's so absurd. I mean, John Peters sounds like a complete nut job. I'm going to let Kevin Smith explain that. Yeah, I'll link you to that video. Something I've just found here, a bit of, let's say, trivia for you. In Superman Returns, at the end, when Perry White's looking at the two newspaper headlines, Superman is dead, the other one reads Superman lives, and apparently that was a nod to this failed project back in the late 90s. But anyway, yeah, I do wish this could have been made. It would have been not interesting, hilarious to see how it all turned out, something to laugh at. And it was a bit weird as well, Kevin Smith writing the script initially, but I recently watched Chasing Amy, and even though it's a comedy, some of the deep meanings behind it was quite insightful. So I think from the video I'm going to link you to, he kind of knows what he's talking about in terms of Superman, and John Peters is just like, let's make it all absurd, we have to make money on this thing, like a typical producer. But yeah, I wish this could have been made, and I hope I've made you laugh a little bit. I don't know how boring this was for you, but I hope it's made you laugh. Superman Lives could have been worse. The whole Superman thing, sorry, could have been worse, but hopefully Man of Steel is something to look forward to. It looks like they're going a completely different direction with this, and I'm really looking forward to it. But anyway, here's my old Twitter stuff and everything. You don't have to follow, but there it is, since I'm not on the screen. A button to the Kevin Smith video below. Honestly, if you need a laugh, I honestly recommend that you watch that video. It's about 10 minutes long or so on, but it's freaking hilarious. Kevin Smith talking about his experience on Superman Lives. So anyway, that's it. Hopefully I'll make another video soon. Got something in the pipeline, going on to wrestling though, however. But anyway, that's it. Thanks for listening and looking at the pictures, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye.